Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very eighth edition of the Jake's Take podcast. And I am with one of my favorite house guests from this past season of Big Brother. Though she is the final three, and I'm sorry, no offense, Jackson, Holly, but she should have been in those two chairs. Please welcome the fabulous, America's favorite house guest, the one and only Nicole Anthony.
Hooray! Hello, everybody!
Nicole, I am so happy to have you here.
Oh, likewise. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Now, before we get any further, guys, I just want to let you know that the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast is not affiliated with any way with Viacom CBS, Eye on the Wall Productions, or Big Brother. So that's it. So let's get down with the fun.
Hooray!
All right, Nicole. So, Nicole, when did you first begin to watch Big Brother, and how did that passion evolve into the desire of auditioning for a show?
Oh, man. So, I started watching, religiously season 11. So, I knew a little bit about season 10. My sisters had watched it. And then season 11 came to be, and I was there. Every episode. I loved Jeff, Jordan, Russell, Sheena. I knew everything about that season. And then it just evolved into this obsession where I couldn't wait for it every summer. And I would watch it and live it, and it wasn't really until I would say Steve was on the show, and he was like, "Oh no, I was salutatorian," and I was like, "Oh wow, I was salutatorian." Who would think that a personality like mine could do that? Wow, good for him. That's really impressive. And then later seasons when Paul was on, I remember seeing him in the diary room and just being like, "That's my inner monologue. That's Nicole, when I'm talking to myself, when I'm giving myself my mantra, when I'm narrating about my day, I could do that. I could see myself doing it." And I think around probably season 18 is when I'm I'm doing this, it's happening.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned a lot of previous house guests, but do you have a good group of your pantheon? And why do they stand out?
Oh my gosh. Hands down, if I had to pick one man and one woman, hands down, my favorites are Paul and Rockstar. And I think a lot of the reason is because I see qualities in them that remind me of myself, very unapologetically themselves and quirky and different and unique and just not even marching, but dancing to their own drum. Paul was always just unfiltered in the DR, just himself, and Rockstar just embraced life. It was just always a ball of energy and love, and I love them both so much. And I think that's the thing. If I connect to them as people, then I love them as players.
I do too, and you picked two really strong people, and I loved seeing both of them. And both of them Rockstar follows me on Twitter, and I've had the pleasure of interviewing Paul multiple times, and it's great to get to know him as a musician as well and as players. And I got to say, if there's a second chance for Rockstar, they got to do a second chance this season like Survivor did, because I believe Rockstar definitely earns one of the spots.
I agree. 100%. And David knows.
Alrighty. So let's talk about some of your highlights of the game, because there's so many. You lasted until day 99.
Yes.
You went out on JC spot, Christmas spot, Victoria spot, Vanessa's spot, and James's spot. So those are the past. So you are in pretty good company.
Extremely good company. It's very intimidating.
So what have been some of the highlights from your game and of the time in the house, and why did they make an impact on you?
Oh, man. I think from a game standpoint, I like if I were to be sitting in those final two chairs, my highlights are the things that I would talk about. And, in the beginning, that whole HOH, bully, blow up, whatever you want to call it, I consider that such a big part of my game because I saw this big alliance of 8 people, and I knew they were all working together, and I saw them as 4 pairs, and I'm like, something's got to give, and I'm going to make it happen. And, I planted those seeds, and I made those little cracks, and I was hoping it would give out, and I was so glad when it did. And then it came back on me, and I was like, crap, I'm going to go home, because I, established this big elaborate plan, and it came back to, bite me, but then it worked out. And I think that worked in my favor, because so many people viewed me as a target, and then were like, oh, wait, maybe she's just a scapegoat. And then they just kind of, forgot about me, and just kind of like fought with each other the rest of the season. So I was able to make moves without ever really worrying about myself being the main target. So I would say that was a very pivotal point in my game.
We were all very worried about you in when the live feed leakage. We were all terrified. Like I was looking on social media and Instagram and like everything. We were seeing like the Big Brother live casters and like Big Brother alumni. They were a little bit not only concerned but angry at that 8.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Sam, but 9. He was in that room at that time, so I'm sorry. But we were all concerned. And I even want to dedicate Naomi Scott's cover of Speechless from the Disney movie Aladdin because that song reminded me so much of like what you were going through. I won't back down.
Yep. You know what it was? Like, obviously now, like, we're past it and we've all, like, exchange like apologies and acceptance of apologies and whatnot, but I think in that moment it was so upsetting and frustrating to be such a fan of the show and know all the hard work and dedication it took to get on the show, and then to be like, oh my god, like this is how I'm gonna go out, and not even able to defend myself in the room. Like, I'm gonna go out being screamed at and yelled at and nobody wants to talk to me, and then I get evicted. Like, I'm like, oh, that's gonna stink. Like, I'm that girl. I'm like, at least let me in the room so I can say my piece and go out, like, on a high note. Like, yeah, this girl defended herself. And that was more so my frustration. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go out as an educator having not advocated for myself. And that was my biggest fear.
But here's the thing. When that 6 broke down and when Cliff was dragging you in and when Jessica was coming in and, like, her shocked face, what was that moment like in that house?
Oh my gosh. I remember, Julie Chen saying, like, by a vote of 6-4. And I'm like, oh, it's me. And she's like, Cliff, I'm like, yeah, it's me. And then I heard Cliff go, it's okay. And I'm like, oh my god, Cliff was just evicted. So, like, and this weird air came over the house. And this weird air of, like, something just went down. They are breaking up. It's all going to hell. And then we go out to the backyard for, like, the battle back. And Cliff comes right back. And I'm like, oh my god.
At the same time, you lost 3 of your closest allies.
So the 4 of them are competing, and I'm honestly thinking, like, whichever one comes back is my person, because I love all 4 of them. They're my people. Like, they're the people I want to work with. So whoever comes back, I'm happy. And obviously, I was glad it was Cliff. Like, I would have been happy with any of them. But I'm like, okay, me and Cliff can move forward. And like you said, when we were able to link up with Kat and Jess, it was just, like, so serendipitous, because it's like, this could work. We were on the bottom for so long, like, it could work out, and then it did for a while. So I don't know, it was a very amazing feeling to feel like an underdog and then be like, no, redemption, we got this.
And then, however, we were all hoping and praying that you would get an HOH, and then we get to the top 6, and with that hockey, what was your reaction when Julie said, congratulations, Nicole, you are the new HOH?
Oh my god, like, I still have goosebumps, like, when you say it. Like, I collapsed. Like, it's such an overwhelming feeling of emotion, because I wanted an HOH title. I'm a fan. I want to leave the show saying I want an HOH. I love the show, so double HOH is a big deal. I wanted my basket. I wanted to see my family and read that letter. Like, now I get it, why people get so emotional, because I had no contact with them until the day I won. And it was so surreal, because I hit my hockey ball once, and it didn't go in. And I'm like, Nicole, your lack of athleticism is going to screw you over again. And I got my ball, and I saw Tommy was right behind me, and I was like, are you serious? I'm going to lose! And something came over me, and I just wailed it. And hearing Julie say that, I think, was probably the most, like, I don't know, uplifting moment in the house. Like, I finally did it. I finally won something. It was amazing.
Another moment I would love to talk to you about, because I was with the Rob Has a Podcast crew in New York City when we were watching the final, where we just watched that intense preview of the Jackson versus Tommy fight. Okay. And we were all worried that that either you or Cliff would be evicted before your time, before you were able to get to the final 3. And then the whole room erupted when we read a tweet that said that declared you the winner of the final 4 HOH.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, my gosh. That was so surreal because we just had like this, pardon my French, clusterfuck of a morning where everybody's fighting. People are making deals. Is it a real deal? Is it not a real deal? We're shaking hands. I don't know who's going to adhere to what. Tommy leaves. Holly and Mickey, are they mad at us? Are they not mad at us? Is Holly going to throw it? I don't think she will. I wouldn't if I was in her position. So it was like a lot of weirdness. And then to get out there, and I'm like, I can do this. Like, I can hold on to this whether she throws it or not. I am not letting it go until my fingers are bleeding. And again, another surreal moment to realize I am going to make it to day 99. I will be in this house for the longest possible time, and I will see my family at finale. And again, just overcome with emotion. And as a fan of the show, such an amazing, amazing feeling to know I was going to make it all the way to day 99.
And let's talk about that finale, because two of the most powerful moments of that finale was when you saw your family for the first time in months. And also when Julie revealed that you were crowned America's favorite house guest. And what did those moments mean to you?
I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it, but I always watch the show as a fan. I go, why do these people cry over their letters? Why are they crying with you? They're always crying. Stop crying. And I think in like a preseason interview, I said, like, I would never cry. Like, don't let them see you cry. And it's so different when you're in there. You know, we're locked away before we enter the house. Then we're locked away in the house. So it's like over 100 days of nothing. And I live at home. I work with my sisters. My parents and my sisters, they're my world. Like, I'm with them all the time. I love them. I confide in them. You know, before I make decisions, I go, hey, what do you think of this? So this was my first time alone, stripped, nothing. Everything was just Nicole. And in that house, you're just so separated that you don't, not that you don't realize, but you almost don't realize that world exists anymore. It's kind of like death. It's like apocalyptic. Like, you're stuck in this Big Brother house. So to be on stage in this Big Brother world, in the Big Brother world, and then see your reality and see it tears you out of that world. And like, oh my God, they still exist. And it was, my brain couldn't register that it was them. And it just shocked me so badly. And I get emotional just thinking about it because I just love them so much.
I got chills from that moment. When you saw your family, because it reminded me so much of like the first time, like, I'm a reality television person and like with the competition shows as well. When Kelly Clarkson first heard her song being sung by a contestant on The Voice and how emotional she got.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have goosebumps. Oh, no, it's so, it takes you back, and it really, oh my God, it's such a weird feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, and another amazing feeling is America's favorite house guest.
Oh my God. That was complete and utter shock. I always said to like Cliff in the house, like, oh, as a fan of the show, I just want to be remembered. I don't want people to say, oh, do you remember Nicole? Yes, the blonde. No, the other Nicole. No, I don't. Oh, was she kind of weird and got bullied? Yeah, that was her. Like that, I just didn't want that to happen where I was like lost in the shuffle. And as a big fan, be like, I was on Big Brother, and people were like, really? So I would say to Cliff, like, I really don't think I'm memorable. I really don't think people are going to know, you know, like, I'm not noteworthy. I'm like, what is there to remember about me? I'm just me. I'm going to not be remembered. And to be told I was in top 3, that was a shock. So I was like, what the hell? Like, top 3 for America's Favorite? This is insane. And as I was still trying to process that, Julie announces me the winner. And I'm like, oh my God, not even in the top 3. I am America's Favorite on my favorite show that I've watched, and I voted for America's Favorite. And like last year, I'm like, yeah, Tyler, you deserve. And never in a million years last year did I sit on my couch and say, that's going to be me next year. And it's phenomenal. It was very shocking, but amazing.
And if you count celebrity, like, this is like the 4th year in a row that America got it right. They got it right with Ross. They got it right with Tyler. They got it right with Tom Green, and they got it right with you. And also, this is the first time I remember in a long time that there's actually been, since Elisa, Rachel's sister, got the first time a woman in years has gotten America's Favorite House Guest.
Representing the women!
Hopefully there'll be more in the future.
Yes, I agree. Come on, lady.
Alrighty, so hypothetically, in the event that either Jackson or Holly decide to say, I'm going to win either way, I'm going to bring Nicole along, and to the final 2. What would have been